For discussion today is a little bit complex. So, the subject matter of discussion is, if every action in this world is orchestrated by Krishna. Now, you need to know all these things. So, you will have to hear the previous videos. I'm already assuming that you have the basic concept of Paramatma realization, where you see that every single action in the universe is being carried out by the three modes under Mahamaya or Yogamaya, ultimately under Krishna's direct and indirect desires, Anvaya, Itarata. It's like, so all of those concepts you will have to first clarify, because I cannot repeat those concepts again and again. But assuming that you have already on that level where when you see Krishna is doing all the actions. So now, when we see that the living entity, he's simply thinking that karta aham iti manyate, but he knows that everything ultimately is working under the direction of Krishna. One who sees Krishna everywhere and everywhere and in everything he sees Krishna. So Krishna is never lost to him. So Vasudevam Sarvam iti sama atma sudarlabha. So he is seeing that Krishna is the orchestrator of all the events. Now, at this point, like imagine you are a devotee like that. You are seeing Krishna's hand in everything. Now, the first question, one of my friends asked this question to me, that how do we decide which actions we need to perform and which actions we should not perform? Like Arjuna was asking a similar kind of question. He was again and again getting confused about actions in Karma Yoga chapter. What are the actions that I need to perform and what are the actions I don't need to perform? To be more clear, it's like this. Imagine you're sleeping in your room and suddenly you're feeling hot. So do you just depend on Krishna and say that, Krishna, please make this room cold, or please remove the heat? Or you go and switch on the AC by your own self. Now, if you go and switch on the AC, you are actually putting your hands inside Maya. So there are two ways to deal with any problems in this material world. One is you tell Krishna that, Krishna, you are the doer, everything is happening as per your desire. So you just leave everything on Krishna and depend on Krishna for every single activity, right? From evacuating, breathing, everything, you're like just seeing Krishna as the cause. Or that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, while evacuating, while breathing, while sitting, while standing, his definition of work is, even if you move a hand, that is also work. So even that has to be accounted for. You cannot just say that I'm just doing this for my sense gratification. So when a sincere devotee, I'm not talking about myself, a really sincere devotee, whose every action it is devoid of sense gratification, then now how does he decide the actions? Which actions to leave on Krishna and which actions to himself do? What are those actions that he needs to do himself, and what are those actions which he has to leave on Krishna? Like, for example, if you now you know that Prabhupada says, all the wealth that you're going to get is already decided by Krishna. He's going to give you this much. So don't do ugra karma. Don't need to, just focus on Krishna consciousness. So we understand that on a macro level, on a large level, we can understand that, all these things are already fixed. Krishna is going to give me. So why work so hard like a dog and an ass? I'll simply wait, and whatever Krishna gives, I'm happy with that. And I'll engage myself in Krishna consciousness. So, but at the micro level, imagine if you feel like going to the toilet, or you get a headache. So do you take a pill, and think that, no, I'll just solve the problem? Or you just say that Krishna has given me the headache, so there must be a purpose, or what, let Krishna please remove the headache. If you so desire, if you so wish, please relieve me of this terrible headache. Or you can either take that course of action, or you can just take Maya into your own hands and then go into the three modes, take a pill, and then start directly interacting with the three modes. Or you go to demigod, for example, and then you pray to the demigod and then get the problem solved. So there are different levels in which you're going to solve the problem. The best solution is to talk to Krishna directly, and the worst solution would be to enter into Maya and try to solve the problem. So if you got a financial problem, then you go into that whole mode of passion, and then try to do politics, and then try to do this and try to do that and whatever, and try to solve it, and then your Krishna consciousness is already lost in the process. and then your focus is lost. You're completely thinking about all of those things. Or you just say that, oh, it's Krishna's desire. Whatever happens is Krishna's desire. Let Krishna solve it in his own way. I'm simply depending on Krishna. So on a macro level, yes, most of the devotees can understand this. But on a micro level, on a extremely micro fabric level. Like if you're not feeling like breathing, you have a difficulty breathing. So what do? You go to a doctor, or you just tell Krishna like, please solve it. So this is the micro level problem. So most of the time devotees do go to the doctors, and they will say that no, yes, इसमें practicality भी होना चाहिए. We have to be practical. Actually, there is no practicality. The philosophy either works or doesn't work. So if you're going to apply it, you need to apply the philosophy everywhere equally. So now, an absolutely small little thing, like you feel like itching your feet. So do you tell Krishna, should I itch? Should I relieve this itch, or should I just depend on Krishna? So this is the micro level of applying this philosophy. Like, on a macro level, okay, if there is a cancer, then we say that, okay, forget it. Krishna, whatever Krishna desires, I'm not going to take a treatment. I'm just going to depend on Krishna and just going to chant Hare Krishna. On a macro level, many devotees can take this decision. But on a micro level, if we go and scratch that itch and relieve ourselves from the itch, then it's like, at this point, you're not totally depending on Krishna then you are like taking things in your own hands on a micro level. So the devotee was asking, how do we determine what action we should do and what action we should not do? If everything is ultimately, knowledge, like, Krishna is doing everything, then why should we engage ourselves in action at all? So yeah, that is right. Actually, Arjuna also asked the same question in the 5th chapter, and many times, many places also. His primary doubt is always about action. Should I do action or should I not do action? Like, everything is done by Krishna, then why should I do action? I'll better engage myself in Gyan, better engage myself in direct Krishna consciousness, Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, go to the forest, become a renunciate, become a beggar, and directly engage myself in Krishna consciousness. Why solve political problems in this world? Or anything of that sort. Because, so in the same way, why should I scratch? So I know on a micro level, why should I scratch my legs? Or why should I even go to the table to have prasad? Why should I go and sit in the table and have prasad? Because if Krishna wants, he can just give me the food, and he can just... Why should I even breathe? Is even breathing necessary? So at on a absolutely micro level, now most devotees won't even understand what I'm trying to say. But when you're trying to apply this philosophy you can't say that it's not practical, forget. There is nothing known as practicality. All these things completely, on a philosophical level, you can apply Krishna consciousness to the smallest possible thing, and then you can extrapolate it and apply it to all the macro levels. So here we are applying certain things, but certain Krishna conscious principles, but certain other places we are not applying. But in the Bhagavatam, there is an example where a devotee is completely applying the principle in his life, like of totally depending on Krishna, and that was the devotee who was in the mode of a python. So that devotee, he was not even moving from his place, he was not even moving an inch from his place. He said, if Krishna wants, the food is going to come, okay, and the food is going to come to my mouth, and I'm simply going to take it, and then automatically it is going to be digested. If the stool is going to come, it's going to come out. I'm not going to even make any kind of effort. It's going to come, it'll come out. And if I'm going to breathe, automatically let it breathe. So he was completely following that principle. And Prahlad Maharaj, I think it was like 7th canto, where Prahlad Maharaj meets that devotee who is in the mode of the python, completely depending on Krishna and not doing any actions except thinking about Krishna. So basically, what happens is, when you are a very advanced devotee in the mode, not a devotee, an advanced jnani or advanced karma yogi, ultimately you realize that everything is being carried out by Krishna under Maya, Yoga Maya or Mahamaya, and under the 3 modes or under the 3 spiritual modes, Sandhini, Samvid, Ladini. So when you understand that, what happens is that you inadvertently or inevitably you tend to go towards the Ashtanga Yoga phase, because they say the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga both have a common point of merger, and that is Ashtanga Yoga. Why Ashtanga Yoga? Because Ashtanga Yogi understands that I need not do any action. My only action should be thinking about Krishna, Smaranam, or thinking about Vishnu, or thinking about Paramatma, whatever. Because any action, all the actions are already being carried out by Krishna. So I'll depend on Krishna only for all the actions. So he just sits in one place, Ashtanga Yogi, and he meditates on Krishna, that's all. Even his breathing, he doesn't, at one point he stops breathing also actually, Ashtanga Yogi, because he says even that is dependent on Krishna. So at that point he's so dependent that his incoming breath and outgoing breath, everything goes off, like, cancels his. So even actions like breathing, eating, sleeping, like Dhruva Maharaj, he stopped eating, he stopped, evacuating, stopped drinking water, and at some point even he stopped breathing. So completely dependent on Krishna, and that's the highest application of that particular principle. Forget about headache and tablets and everything. Even breathing is possible, and such examples do exist in the Shastras. So it's not something utopian or not something that nobody can do. It is there. So Dhruva Maharaj was, of course, in the initial stage. He was like something like one of those devotees, was artharthi, one who wanted money. So he was going in that direction for that. But he did perform yoga, because he did understand the principles from Narada Muni, that everything is being, so applying that principle automatically, applying the karma yoga principle also, like, every action in service of Krishna, like, kind of, then he automatically Gyan came into him, and then automatically he was not exactly a Jnana yogi, that he analyzed the material elements and then understood that everything is done by Krishna under Maya, under the three modes, and then what's my purpose of doing things? No action needs to be performed. If Krishna wants, he will automatically perform it. He didn't apply that, but he did more or less of a karma yoga and directly Ashtanga yoga. Like he just considered the body, the senses to be in touch of the body, and he was not attached to the body, and started letting go of all the actions of the body, like breathing, eating, sleeping, evacuating. He stopped everything and completely went into trance or samadhi, where he is dependent on everything for Krishna. It's like connecting to the main server, autopilot mode. You no longer manually control the plane, because you realize that the plane is anyways not being controlled by you. When you turn the plane left, the plane sometimes goes right. When you turn it right, sometimes it goes left. That means it's not being controlled. So similarly, happiness, when you are running after happiness, still you get distress in the material world. And when you are running after distress, you sometimes get happiness. So then you understand that you don't control this material world. Everything is controlled by Maya and Krishna. So at that point, the samadhi is the point where you actually directly connect with Krishna, and you just let go of all the functions of the body, even the micro functions of the body. That is possible. Now, as devotees, what are we supposed to do? Where do we stand in this whole thing? Ashtanga yogis, of course, yogis actually go into that extreme level of, like, seeing every action as being done by Paramatma, it's Krishna. Not exactly Krishna, but Paramatma. So how do we as devotees see this? What is Krishna consciousness? How do we apply this to devotees? So here is a very nice perspective that I just thought. It's something like this. Actually, there are three stages, as we know. One, a devotee who is under Yogamaya. That is like pure devotees of Krishna. They are in Golok Vrindavan, Yashodamai and people like that. They are under the illusion known as Yogamaya. Then there are certain people who are under the illusion known as Mahamaya. They exist in the material world. And then there are certain sadhakas who are in between, like, Yogamaya and Mahamaya. They are actually in Mahamaya, but they are actually doing they're interacting with Krishna under kind of a artificial Yogamaya. They are in artificial Yogamaya. They offer food to Krishna, but they're not exactly in Yogamaya. They're like in Mahamaya, but they offer food to Krishna, things like that. So they are inside Mahamaya, but they are doing the work of people who are inside Yogamaya. So they are inside Krishna Samsar Leela, but they are doing, they are also partaking Krishna's Nitya Leela inside the Samsara part. So that's how devotees can be described. And then there are impersonalists who are completely neither in Yogamaya nor in Mahamaya. They just see the reality as it is. They are outside the drama. So there is a spiritual drama conducted by Yogamaya as a director, and there's a material drama being conducted by Mahamaya as a director. And these guys, the impersonalists, they are outside the drama. And we non-devotees are inside the drama, and pure devotees are inside the spiritual drama. So it's something like that. Now, as sadhakas, okay, what is our position? Our position is something like a Trishanku position, neither here nor there kind of a position. We are inside Mahamaya actually, okay, but now we constantly interact with Krishna. Now we have to understand something. Krishna, you cannot be inside Mahamaya and interact with Krishna. Of course you can It's actually Krishna only interacts with people in Yog Maya originally. I mean, if you understand that. For him, there is no Maya Maya, there is only Yog Maya, Krishna. And Krishna cannot interact with people who are in the Brahman concept. He simply gets disinterested in those people. Like, for example, if you tell Krishna, Krishna, I can't offer you food because you are already God, you are already the Supreme Lord. So then Krishna won't be interested. So because you are in an impersonal kind of a mindset, that mindset Krishna dislikes. He doesn't like it at all. You may be in Mahamaya and interact with him like a demon. That he'll enjoy. You may be in Yog Maya and interact with him like a devotee. That also he'll enjoy. He enjoys both devotees and demons. Of course, he gives a lot of trouble to the demons. But what he really dislikes is impersonals, impersonalists, people who are in that middle stage where they see all pervading Brahman, where they, even devotees who see like Krishna as a Supreme Lord and he's the conductor of everything, Paramatma realization. Krishna doesn't like, that much, that way, where people visualize him as God. So, as devotees, when we interact with Krishna, we have to be emulating Yoga Maya. You have to be emulating devotees who are inside Yoga Maya. Like, when you are offering food to Krishna, you cannot say that I am not the doer and Krishna only, you only arrange yourself. No, I have to offer the food to Krishna. You have to think, I am the doer. I am actually the doer. Karta aham iti manyate. That you have to think like that, actually. I am the one who's doing it. I am the one who's offering. I have to offer this to Krishna. So Krishna, please accept this. Otherwise, there is no bhav in that. If you think that, Krishna is only making me offer it, that will be again Paramatma realization. So as a devotee, you have to think at that point. Even though you are not in Yog Maya, you still have to behave as if you are in Yog Maya and offer the food to Krishna and tell Krishna, Krishna, please accept this food. Otherwise, you are hungry, I know that. Please accept this food. Okay? Like that you have to offer the food to Krishna. Now what happens is, how does such a devotee, a sadhaka, how does he deal with the day-to-day activities? How does he deal with? In a Krishna conscious way. So that is 100% Krishna conscious. How does he deal with it? For example, he gets a headache. What does he say? He immediately goes to a doctor. No, I have to go to a doctor. Suddenly does he forget that this headache is given to me by Krishna for a reason? What was the reason? Why did I get a headache? What was the thing? So if he starts thinking, no, it's karma and let me go to a doctor, it's finished. It's like he's still not Krishna conscious fully, actually. Now this may be shocking because 99% of people like us are in the same boat. We just switch off Krishna for some time. We take everything in. The plane is in auto mode. Krishna consciousness means you have to put the plane in auto mode. Everything is being done by Krishna. But we take the manual control many times. Suddenly we leave the big things for Krishna. So devotees do leave the big things. Sadhakas, they leave the big things to Krishna. Sometimes I've seen that, imagine there is a huge earthquake or something. Then they say, it's Krishna's desire that earthquake happened. Why did Krishna do that? Immediately they start saying that Krishna is the doer of such an activity. But if there is a small itch in their feet, and they get a feeling that I should itch it. At that time, they don't ask the question, why did Krishna give me this small itch? They'll just go and they'll just scratch the itch. That time they'll take the plane into a manual mode. The flight that is going on, the flight that they're driving, so they feel that they are the drivers, and suddenly they take control of the wheel and they start driving the plane. And suddenly again, when the big things happen, if somebody gets cancer, then they say, Krishna gave that for purification. Let us depend on Krishna. Let us do something. Let us see what happens. Let us chant more. Now, imagine there's a last stage of cancer. Nothing's going to happen. Then they start understanding that it's Krishna's desire, it's Krishna's will. So on a bigger level, when things are beyond their control, devotees tend to see that, okay, this is done by Krishna. But on a micro level, when things happen, small things like, you're feeling hot and you have to switch on the fan, then they don't think about it. Suddenly they take everything manually in their control. They don't think, anything, and they just switch on the fan and then that's it, done. Again, the control is given to Krishna for some. So they keep on wrestling control from Krishna. Apparently they feel like that they are the doers. Actually, they are not the doers, but they still feel like that. They are wrestling control from Krishna for some time, and then they take control of their lives. And then again they give control back to Krishna. Now you are the doer, Krishna. I am not the doer. So there is a call from the bank. Mr. So-and-so, there is a problem right now. Please come to the bank. Immediately they'll go. They'll start doing everything. That time they'll not talk to Krishna. Why did this happen, Krishna? What happened? So my point is, Krishna consciousness on a neophytic level, like on a level of a neophyte, it's very easy to apply, so to see that Krishna is the orchestrator of events on a macro level, like things which are beyond your control. But somebody comes and slaps you, you don't think that Krishna is the one who has sent him to slap you. That time you think that this devotee has done that, because on a micro level. Then you start taking control in your own hands, chastise the devotee, take control, do politics, all those things you'll do. And then when things go out of hand, then they'll say, what is Krishna's desire, what to do? It's ultimately God's desire when things are like on a macro level. So that's not how we are supposed to do. Krishna consciousness means applying, the more advanced you are in Krishna consciousness, you're conscious of Krishna. Right now what happens? We are conscious of Krishna at certain times and we are unconscious of Krishna at certain times. We forget Krishna and we take things in our own hands. So rithe artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta cha atmani tadavidyat atmano maya yatha bhaso yathatma. That defines Krishna consciousness. Rithe artham, that without meaning. So if you see in this world anything as disconnected from Krishna, and you think that this, demigods are doing it, or your boss is doing it, or you are doing it, or this tablet is doing it, or the doctor is doing it, anything if you see, anything in this world is disconnected from Krishna. Somebody comes and slaps you, and then, oh, that devotee has slapped you, the devotee is bad, or that non-devotee is bad. Whatever, if you start seeing those things as disconnected from Krishna, then you are in Maya. Rithyartham yat pratiyata na pratiyata chatmani. That which appears to have no connection to Krishna, but which appears to exist, although it is meaningless, that is my Maya, Krishna says. That which appears to exist, but has no connection with God. Somebody slaps you, oh, this event has no connection with God. It has nothing to do with Krishna. It has to do with this devotee. He is the idiot. I'm going to slap him back. I'm going to do some politics with him. So you're seeing that devotee as disconnected from Krishna. That was not Krishna's message to you, but it was a devotee who did that. So that becomes Maya. So now the most advanced devotee of Krishna, who is in Krishna consciousness, what he does is he applies Krishna consciousness to the minutest things in life. Okay. Now, if you see that Python devotee who was not, he was thinking everything is done by Krishna, everything is done by, so I will not even do anything. I'll just sit in one place. So that is more towards a neutral yogi kind of a thing. That's like a Paramatma realization. That Python devotee was more or less in Paramatma realization, seeing Krishna as the cause of everything. Paramatma realization. So, but as a devotee, we cannot do that, because that will have a problem, because then you cannot offer food to Krishna. You think that is also been done by Krishna only. Krishna is orchestrating everything. Why should I offer food to Krishna? So what we have to do is, what the devotee and I were discussing, and this is what I came up with, the solution, is that we have to be constantly in conversation with Krishna. Right from the time when you get up from the bed. It's not possible, I'm not doing it, but we should try to do that. Constantly in conversation with Krishna, and see Krishna even in the smallest of things, not in the big things, smallest of things. Imagine you get up and you say, oh Krishna, hi, how are you, Krishna? How things going on? Krishna says, hi, how are you? So even you can imagine that, okay? Because what happens is, even if you imagine that Krishna is talking to you, like the Brahmana who imagined that Krishna was accepting his food, Krishna has to accept it. If you are doing it with bhav, then Krishna will do what you are imagining him to do. So even if you speculate that I am offering food to Krishna in my mind, and Krishna is eating it with gusto, he's really enjoying my food, even if imagining it, Krishna has to do that. Like that Narsimananda Brahmachari, he was imagining that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken left, he has taken right, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to forcefully take a left and right. And he says, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not go to Vrindavan, he'll come back. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to come back from Vrindavan. He was forced because of the bhav of Narsimananda Brahmachari. In the same way, you have to be constantly in conversation with Krishna. Like you get up in the morning, you start talking to him immediately. You have to, in your mind, start talking to him. What's happening? Okay, Krishna, how are you now? Okay, I'm going to take my... So then immediately, you start feeling some... Imagine, let's take a sample space of this, a day in the life of a Krishna conscious devotee. Let's take that. We have this day in the life. So this concept of day in the life is very common nowadays. So you get up in the morning and then immediately you start feeling like going to the toilet, and suddenly you think, tell Krishna, oh Krishna, I'm feeling like this, So what is your plan now? Oh, I hope you're not going to give me any pain in the toilet, okay? I mean, I hope everything goes on fine. So you might think this is like preposterous. How can you, talk to Krishna about shit? Even that you can talk. Even once in Vyasa Puja offering, Radhanath Maharaj, in his offering, in his Vyasa Puja, Mahaprabhu was saying that, they were having the constipation problem, and then in the night, and they couldn't get the milk, and they were very much disturbed. So Radhanath Maharaj, they went to Maharaj and they said that we couldn't get the milk, and tomorrow we don't know if the toilet is going to come, we don't how the texture of the toilet is going to be. So Maharaj actually said that you just sit on the commode, raise both your hands and say, hey Govinda, hey Krishna, like Draupadi, cry, and then depend on Krishna even for toilet. So Krishna is in the Bhagavad Gita, even while evacuating, he thinks that the senses are acting. So Krishna, he says, every time you have to be conscious of me, even while breathing, evacuating, even evacuating word is used. So the moment you get up and then you start having the conversation, okay, what are you going to do? And then suddenly something happens, and then why did you do that, Krishna? What's the problem now, Krishna? Tell me, what's the problem? Why did this happen? So, and after that, immediately you start feeling little hot. And Krishna, why am I feeling hot? What is the purpose behind feeling hot? Then Krishna tells you, starts answering, Are, I am also feeling hot, Baba, in my room. Start the AC. So, you start the fan then. And then you start your fan. And then say, Krishna, I am also starting my fan. I hope it's okay. He says, okay, start your fan. Now what's happening is you are inside Yogamaya. Although you're not inside Yogamaya, you're having a personal thing. The impersonal part was, everything is done by Krishna. Why should I act? I will not act. I'll just remain like a Ashtanga yogi, or the Python devotee. That was impersonalism. Slightly impersonal. But here now, this has become personal. Now, every single action that you're doing, you are conversing with Krishna. So you start getting itch and you say, why am I getting this itch, Krishna? What is your message in this? Tell me. Come on. Why did I get this? Should I scratch? Why should I scratch? He say, then Krishna will tell you, okay, scratch it, Baba. I just wanted to take your attention towards me. I just wanted to. Then you have another conversation with Krishna. Then you have another conversation. Then a devotee comes and slaps you. And then you ask Krishna, why the hell did you send that devotee to slap me? Then Krishna says, you didn't offer me prasad in the morning, so I thought, and you say, now I'm going to do something to you. Don't worry. You send that devotee to slap me. So now even you are fighting with Krishna. So you don't even see that devotee or non-devotee. Everybody becomes a devotee for you. There is no non-devotee. Every person is being sent by Krishna. Every action, you only see Krishna everywhere. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. And you start talking with him for every single activity, even switching on the fan, breathing, everything like Krishna. Oh, I'm not feeling very much like breathing, I'm having difficulty. Why did you do this now, Krishna? What's the problem with you? Krishna, tell me what's the problem. Then Krishna tells you, no, so he's a mastikor person, he'll start talking to you and he'll start telling you, and because of this, so then you start seeing Krishna's hand in every micro event of your life. Every micro event, you start seeing Krishna's hand in that. And then you start seeing that, this is Krishna has a message in everything. Every single so even when you're not a devotee, every single thing in your life was being done by Krishna for a message, actually. So Krishna was playing a one-way game. He was enjoying it in his own way, beating the hell out of you and giving you the message. So you were not understanding that. You were not conscious of him being a part of your life. But now as you become Krishna conscious, every single small little event in your life has a meaning. That Krishna is conversing with you. So even they say a devotee in the bhava stage, when he looks at a deer, and the deer, he thinks that if the deer is going to look towards me, that means Krishna is happy with me. If the deer is going to look away from me, that Krishna is not really happy. He has got some problem with me. So even such a small little event like deer looking towards him and deer looking away from him is conscious of Krishna being the cause of that, and Krishna and he's conversing with Krishna, the devotee. So that is the stage of bhav, or known as bhavna amrita sangha. In Hindi, ISKCON is known as Krishna Bhavna Amrita Sangha, and bhavna comes from the root word etymologically bhav, which means consciousness. Krishna, consciousness. So bhav doesn't mean actually prem, actually. It means consciousness. Where you are conscious, your consciousness is fixed on Krishna. You start seeing Krishna everywhere, every place, every single action. You're constantly conversing with Krishna. Okay, Krishna, now what? Now what's the next plan? How are you going to beat the hell out of me? Tell me. What mischiefs have you planned for me for the day? Okay, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? So from morning till the time you go to the bed, you are having a conversation with Krishna, and then every action that happens in the world is like Krishna's reply, and he replies from within you. He talks with you, and he confirms that through the world. So even a small scratching your body, even breathing, even going to the toilet and the texture of the toilet, even that is going to determine Krishna. Like, if he wants to give you some trouble, then he can give you trouble from anywhere. Then you get a headache and you tell Krishna, what is this, yaar? You're giving me a headache. Krishna says, well, remove the headache. Then he says, oh, what am I, your servant or what? I'm not going to remove your headache. So I'll go and take a tablet. Okay, go take a tablet. Okay, I'm going to. So even if you're going to take a tablet, or sometimes you may not take a tablet, you may say, Krishna, you're going to remove the headache. If you don't remove the headache, I'm not going to feed you today. No prasad for you. And then Krishna says, Arey yaar, give me the prasad. No, I'm not going to give you prasad. Why did you give me a headache? Now tell me, what's the reason for this? Then Krishna will say, okay, give me an ice cream, I'll take your headache away. Then you say, okay, I first take this headache away. Then immediately the headache will go away. Then you start seeing miracles in your life. That actually the thing, that you didn't never required a tablet, you never required a doctor. So it was all about Krishna. So as you go deeper and deeper and deeper in every action of this world, you start seeing Krishna. You become Krishna conscious. And that's the point where you are in Yog Maya, where you are, because if you want to interact with Krishna, you cannot interact in an impersonal way. You have to interact in a personal way with Krishna. So, did I miss some points now? This is one of the things, that how you can see Krishna in every action, and then you start talking with him. So talking with Krishna is the most important part. So the more you talk with him, and the more he replies, then every single action you start seeing Krishna in that. Like, there is a reason for every action that's happening in your life. Even the smallest action, you start seeing Krishna. So that is the sum and substance of today's discussion.